kids in fall. I guess that's when I started as a trainer.
Is that where I'm assuming that is where the name Doc came
Yeah.
from, your moniker was the fact that you were a trainer. And you started, you think, there with fixing kids who followed on cinders?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, it was just like I don't know where y'all can remember the old county roads or not, but that's where it looked, was where the track around the circle.
Yeah.
There were a lot of skin burns on your knees.
Yeah.
Falling, I guess, wasn't it, Doc?
Yeah, I mean, you know, especially when they put up the hurdles.
The hurdles and running the hurdles and falling.
Yeah.
Well, gosh.
So,
well,
I mean,
man.
we've had those. I mean, it was a good, I mean, it was I guess the only one in the area, as I say, that I know of.
Right.
I mean, the stadium was, I know.
Well, then
They were always proud of the stadium because we were back there in high school that had a stadium next to the school where, you know, where it was controlled completely by the school administration, the high school administration.
Doc has been up and down that sidelines until recently, where he's been sitting in the stadium seats. But he's been up and down that sidelines almost 60 years.
How many ball games do you think you've seen?
Yeah, I've only missed 4 in 60 years.
Just 4
Now I
ball
missed
games.
3, you know, this year
Yeah.
because I just couldn't get out.
Right.
So you've missed 4 total, and 3 of them were this year?
Yeah.
Wow.
We ought to do the math. Now, I want to put a room to rest. Now, you were not part of the WPA work project.
No.
Well, when I came for the interview with Mr. Bretsky, he said, well, you'll have to go down and talk to the chairman of the science department, because he'll talk to you about teaching 9th grade science. And so I did. And at that time, Frank Maples wasn't Doc. To us, it was Frank Maples. So I go talk to Frank Maples, and he gives me this big line, you know, the scientific stories and so forth and so on. And then I left, and then next thing I know, they offered me a job to teach 9th grade science and be assistant football and assistant baseball coach. And we've developed a relationship from that point on, because Doc was everybody's friend, you know, and he became Doc to me and to my family. And there's so many things that he has done for our family as my children grew up through Tennessee High. And he just was a great help to them. And even to the point where he would make sure that they were in the class he thought they should be in.
There you go.
And
That's important.
yeah, he followed up on all that, and he really looked after them. But you've seen a lot of football coaches go by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, who was the first football coach?
Oh, Holt.
Everett
Frosty?
Holt?
Was it Frosty? Is that what they call him?
No.
Two different people?
Two different
Everett
people.
Holt.
Okay.
Everett Holt.
Everett Holt. Okay.
Everett Holt was the first football coach
Yeah.
that he had. Well, not only that, did he tape ankles, he cooked the pregame meal.
I was wanting to get into that. I mean, you know, you're as well known, you know, you're Doc because of the training part, but definitely during the last 30 years. I mean, it's about, you know, you're a cook. I mean, you're such a, how did you get the background of being able to cook before you've done athletic banquets? You have cooked for hundreds, thousands of people at a time. How do you do it? How did you get into that?
I don't know, other than they asked me to do it, Jim. The coach did. So that.
Now, did you do that in the armed services?
Huh?
Did you do anything in the armed services having to do it?
No. In the Army Service, I was the chaplain's assistant.
Is that right, Bob? You weren't a cook.
Huh?
You weren't
No,
Well,
no, I didn't cook.
How many years did you cook, pregame meals and things for the various teams?
I started in cooked the pregame meals when, what, 60?
60s. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
In the 60s, he cooked the pregame meal. And the banquet, the
Yes.
athletic, all sports
Yeah.
banquet. He did the meals for the all sports banquet.
And I guess there are two things that I think you may be, three things really, most well known for in your cooking. More than that. Okay. Your bacon wrapped, fillets.
Fillets.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, your banana pudding.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, your spaghetti.
Yeah.
Now, another one. Now, when you were, you're well known for your fudge. Tell me about your fudge.
It started out as a lab.
Okay.
Yeah, the process, of making sonification of fatty acid.
Uh-huh.
So the basic formula for almost any candy is taking that fatty acid,
Mm-hmm.
which is your butter, and making it into the fondue.
Mm-hmm.
And so it started in the chemistry lab.
Well, it was world famous.
That's back when we had 6 weeks,
Uh-huh.
and the 6 weeks was they had to do a project.
Uh-huh.
The chemistry student had to do a project,
Uh-huh.
and so we started out with that. That was one of the projects that they made.
Well, I can testify to a situation. You don't let this get broadcast much, but I'm gonna toot your horn a bit. When I was first in administration at Tennessee High School and you were still teaching, I had a phone call from a big higher up at Beecham, which is a local, a pharmaceutical plant,
Yeah.
and they wanted to arrange a time to talk to you. And I said, well, sure, anytime, his classes, you want to talk? He said, no, we want to talk to Doc, because when we have a practical application that we get stumped, we often talk to Doc about the chemistry of how these things are done. You didn't talk about that much, but you know a whole bunch about chemistry over the years.
Yeah, a lot of the companies I've consulted, I guess the last one was they had a problem with glue at one of the factories.
Do you remember what the solution was?
Oh yeah, it was nothing more than sodium bicarbonate in making the glue a little bit thicker.
Uh-huh.
They couldn't figure out how it got so thin,
Uh-huh.
but they put the bicarbonate in it, so that solved their problem apparently because of,
That's an interesting analogy, metaphor, because I believe, to me, I think you're the glue that keeps the history and the legacy of Tennessee High and the Stonecastle and stuff going through the ages.